Jordan Poole is going to the nation's capital, Washington, D.C., alongside Ryan Rollins. And it looks like in a separate deal, Patrick Baldwin Jr. is going to Washington as well for Trace Jackson Davis. And Jordan Poole is going to Washington alongside Ryan Rollins and a couple picks for Chris Paul. Chris Paul will be a Golden State Warrior in the next couple weeks, and he talked about it on this book tour. And I mean, what a wild scene. I mean, good morning to everybody out there.
Paul.
This is going to be one of them shows. We're going to take your calls, 888-957-9570. Dean, Portland, Hayden, and Austin, Texas. I see you already on hold. Good morning to everybody out there getting off the graveyard shift. If you're at work, what is happening? Good morning to everybody out there who's a Warrior fan, a sports fan. Yesterday was a very interesting day here in the Bay Area.
Look, I want to start a couple things. Number one, if you want to move Jordan Poole, I'm open to that. No one is saying he's some perfect player, okay? He's got flaws. He is a 23-year-old player. He had a down year. There's no doubt about it. You could say, Joe, well, he had one outlier year. Well, you score 20 points a game. That's someone wants that. And he did it back-to-back years, essentially. Somebody wants that. You want to trade him? Fine. You better bring in something that solves some of your issues, okay? You lost in the playoffs because you had lack of athleticism, size, and two-way players. I would also say you didn't have enough shooting. Could always use more shooting.
And I would also add the cohesion on the roster.
Agreed.
Was not there.
Agreed.
And Sean Livingston talked about that on the All the Smoke podcast with Steven Jackson and Matt Barnes. You have to have continuity. You have to have cohesion. You've got to have a locker room moving as one. One drum beat. One beat, right? One beat. We remember the movie Drumline, right? One sound, one beat. You did not have that last year with the Golden State Warriors. And you needed to figure out how can we gain that back?
Yeah.
How do we get that energy that was, I mean, it ran throughout the locker room in that championship season. You could feel the vibes.
Absolutely.
You didn't feel that vibes last year. We know why.
No doubt. Now, you could also make an argument that, and I think it's a little extreme, you could say, Joe, Jordan Poole's contract going forward is worse than D'Angelo Russell's contract was a couple of years ago. It's one of the worst deals. Fine, fair enough. Okay, no problem.
One band, one sound.
What does that mean?
Sorry, drum line.
But get me multiple players. Get me multiple guys who can help out. Depth was a problem. Size was a problem. Athleticism was a problem. Perimeter defense was a problem. And you go and get a guy who's literally was going to be bought out.
Yeah, but here's the deal. If he was going to be bought out, there's no guarantee Chris Paul joins are going to say Warriors.
Yeah, but you don't pay $30 million for that guy.
But he's got an expiring contract.
Okay.
He's got it from the money aspect. Let's play both sides here.
Okay.
From the money aspect
what about
here.
This year?
What about this year? You got to see let's see where the roster is this year in a couple weeks. As far as Chris Paul, they do have a team option. You can move off this deal after the season, so you release that money. Hell, you may even trade him at the deadline. Am I a fan of the trade? Originally, no. And I'm still trying to wrap my head around the trade from a basketball sense. In a read and react offense, how does Chris Paul make your second unit better? He's a ball pounder. He plays slow. He's older. He has health issues. There's no doubt you're going to have to load manage him, and there's still no guarantee that he's going to get you through a playoff run.
Also not the greatest teammate from what people have said at multiple pit stops.
Yeah, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. But one thing was crystal clear yesterday. Jordan Poole and Draymond Green were not going to be able to coexist in the locker room together. That was made crystal clear. And so the Warriors essentially looked at the money of Jordan Poole, said, okay, the 4-year deal is going to kick in for $123 million, and can we go through another season the way we did? Jordan Poole, listen, man, the energy last year was bad. You could say Jordan Poole was bad at Draymond Green. Hell, I'm hearing rumors that it was also at Steve Kerr because of the lack of minutes or the consistent minutes. It was not going to work here. So they picked the guy who helped them win 4 championships as opposed to the guy who helped them win 1 championship. That's basically what it comes down to. Now, the money, again, is another avenue here because the new CBA is going to have teams flipping guys left and right.
Uh-huh.
You want to stay under that tax threshold. So it helps the Warriors. It helps the Warriors in the future when it comes to this contract here. But it is a hard pill to swallow that Chris Paul, I can't think about a guy. Now, if the Warriors win, we will all start to cape up for Chris Paul. That's how fans work. They love winners. They love winning. And if he helps you win, we're all going to say, you know what? That was a great deal.
But Jordan Poole did help you win, and it feels like yesterday, the one thing lost in the sauce, look, last year wasn't great. I'm not here to cape. It wasn't great. I was as frustrated as everyone else. There were times where I was like, get him off the floor. I don't want to see him. Trust me, I was right there with everyone. But he did help you win a championship the year before. People are acting like he had no part of that championship, and that's just not fair. We're kicking this guy on the way out the door, and to me, Jordan Poole is a part of the many reasons of why this team had systematic failures.
No doubt.
You know, you could say, Joey's a large part. Fine, he's a large part. But there are other components to why this team had failures. And to me, we have over-exaggerated how bad he was and that he was the reason we weren't good enough. Was he on the floor in the fourth quarter when Lonnie Walker was cooking?
Nah, he wasn't.
Was he the one who couldn't guard Anthony Davis?
No.
I mean, so again, if we're going to be honest here, let's play all sides of the equation.
Let's do it.
I'm bummed out, man. And this is one of the all-time most hated Warriors. It's LeBron, it's Harden, it's CP3. I can't stand CP. I very rarely actively root against someone to fail. I have rooted against this guy since day one. He's kicked Curry at every turn.
Well, you know what?
Rooted for his failure and his demise. And now, if you can't beat him, join him. He's on the Warriors.
Well, guess what?
What are we doing?
Guess what? Get out your feelings because you will be rooting for him this year.
He's on the last stop of the railroad.
Yeah, but you know what, though? If you can root for Richard Sherman, you can root for Chris Paul.
Look, Richard Sherman had an all-pro year in his back pocket.
Richard Sherman played.
CP3 is one step away from collecting 401k checks.
Well, let's be real, though. He's still getting you 14-9. He's 38 years old, and he doesn't turn the ball over. That's one thing. You had a lot of turnovers. Jordan Poole was number 4 in the league overall in terms of turnovers. And let me just say this.
He's not the only one who turns the ball over on this team. That's
There's no doubt.
Thing. Yes,
he's not.
He does.
He's not. But I will say this. I think for Jordan Poole, looking at Jordan Poole, I think he's going to relish this opportunity to be on a different team in a different setting. He needed a change of scenery.
I wish him well.
I wish Jordan Poole nothing but the best.
I think we're kicking him on the way out the door, and it's not for
that's
you.
Not going to happen on this show.
I feel bad. We treated him like crap.
I called Willer's show a couple weeks ago because I didn't like the rhetoric that was going on that show. The slander of Jordan Poole on that show, saying that he deserved this and he deserved that, yada. He's the reason why things are going awry. No, that's not fair. Jordan Poole was a great kid. I remember him to this day when Guru and I sat there at his rookie introductory press conference, and we were vibing. Guru, Jordan Poole, and myself. And that same kid was still there last year. But how can he trust an organization that really didn't seem to have his back last year when things happened the way they happened? There was whoa, really? But he was able to get over that, and then you get the inconsistent minutes. And for Jordan Poole, I don't think he per se went to the Warriors to say, get me the hell out of here. Get me out of here. No, that's not the case. But I think Jordan Poole, as he sits there in London, or I think he's in Switzerland now, he's going to say, you know what? It's good for me. He needed a change of scenery. He needed to get away from here. He needed to get away from Steve Kerr and Draymond Green. He needed to get away from both guys and say, you know what? I'm going to go to a team that I'm going to be able to start. I'm going to be able to figure out my game.
Yeah.
I'm going to be able to work on defense, and I'm on a rebuilding team. You know what? Jordan Poole may average 30 points a game next year. They're not going to win a lot of games, but Jordan Poole's going to be a borderline all-star next year. Let's just face it. And so now the hope is, are you going to regret this trade 3 years from now? Are you going to regret the Wiseman trade 3 years from now?
Let me ask you right now.
Because this is a win-now move. This is a move that says...
But does this make you better in the West?
I think it makes you slightly better because Chris Paul in the half court can't facilitate for you.
Yeah.
Let's
isn't
be real.
it redundant with Draymond? They're both holding the ball at the top of the key.
Well, I don't see Draymond and Chris Paul.
Move.
But see, I don't see Draymond and Chris Paul playing a lot together. I really don't. I don't know how that works from a basketball sense. Honest to God. I don't know how that works.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know how it works. That's for Steve Kerr to figure it out here. But in terms of facility, the thing with the Lakers series is they couldn't even get a shot in the fourth quarter of Game 4. They had nobody to get them a shot. At least I know Chris Paul in the half court is going to be able to at least create a shot for you.
So now he's closing games?
I don't know if he's closing games.
So now I have a backcourt.
I don't know.
This is the other part.
But in the first 6 minutes of a fourth
I'll
quarter,
listen to
where you're
that.
trying to stabilize a game, at least I know he can get you a shot.
He's more reliable in terms of, consistent play than Jordan Poole.
Exactly.
But here's the other part. Poole did provide some spacing. Teams did honor him from far away from the hoop.
Right.
Look, he was erratic as hell, okay? He's not the great person to try to back on certain things, but we act like he was some net zero his entirety of his Warrior career, and that's not true. There's somewhere in between. He wasn't great this year. In terms of facilitating, I get all that.
Right.
They need defense.
They do need defense.
They need major defense.
They do need
the reason
defense.
they lost is because they couldn't stop a nosebleed on the perimeter. They have one two-way player. One
Andrew Wiggins.
now, Andrew Wiggins.
Yep.
And they need reinforcements on the perimeter. If you're going to roll with Clay and Steph, you have to supplement them with elite, not good, elite perimeter defense.
Listen, we just had a conversation 2 weeks ago about Chris Paul, and I yelled at you and I said, "This guy's a traffic code."
I thought they were getting
This guy's a traffic code. This guy's a traffic code. Listen, and I'm not a big CP3 fan, man. I went out with Casey and D'Lo, and they're reading no tweets about it. I'm like, damn, I was going in on
you
Chris
did that
Paul
yesterday?
Oh man, I did it. No, I was all over. I did Giants post game live with Carlos and them, and from the car.
You did?
Oh yeah, I was doing post game live. They
I'm
had me
hella
doing
jealous.
Warriors hit. I mean, they had me doing Warriors
So you
hit.
made Giants postgame live before me.
Yeah,
Damn it.
I mean, could you be
No.
part of the NBC family?
I know.
Come on now. Well, George Consos, too. It's my second time I'm talking to Consos. And he agreed with a lot of my takes there. So,
Well, did
listen,
you have
man.
your shirt on? Because when we FaceTimed each other, you didn't have your shirt on.
So we're gonna get to the calls. We're gonna get to the calls, but listen, I was in swim class, 11:45 on Thursday, La Petite. And baby Chaz and I had a great day in the pool, right? She's doing her thing. She was swimming fast and doing her thing. And so, it was just me and her and an income. She was doing work stuff at the house. And so, give her a shower, shampoo her hair, condition it, and then I'm getting her dressed. And I was away from my phone for about, I want to say 45 minutes, which is a long time for me. I can't go without my phone for 5 minutes. And I see all these texts. Wooly calls me. Shasky calls me. So Shasky calls me, and I'm thinking, okay, what happened at the station now? Something's happening at 95.7. What happened now? I got to play Dr. Phil. And Shasky goes, I'm like, what's going on? You didn't see what happened? I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, Jordan Poole's gone. And I'm saying, for who? And it's Chris Paul.
And they stapled the first
And
rounder.
they
I don't
stapled the
care
first
if it's
20,
the
30.
21-91 first
whatever.
rounder. You stapled the first rounder?
Yeah, no doubt. And I'm thinking to myself, Chris Paul. And so for the next 5 hours, because it was radio hit after radio hit, and it's doing this, and people are blowing me up, and I'm talking to people trying to figure out what's going on. And I was like, you know what? I just need to go to the draft. So I went to Chase Center yesterday to see what was going on and kind of figure things out. And I understand it from the money aspect. I understand it. And I understand that it just wasn't going to work out with Jordan Poole and Draymond Green here. So they chose up. So I understand the vision. I see the vision.
What is the vision?
The vision is we got to get under this new CBA somehow, some way, and we got to move a guy. And you know what? There's a lot of friction between these two guys, and we're going to bet on Draymond Green, the 4-time champ, and we're going to take a backup point guard who, let's be honest, we've seen a lot of backup point guards here. They were trying to find Sean Livingston's replacement for years. They tried Brad Wanamaker. They tried Nico Mannion. They tried who the God knows what, Ryan Rollins. Chris Paul's the best backup point guard they've had since Sean Livingston.
No, I agree with that.
And I agree. And I see the vision with the money. And I see
that.
and I understand it. Doesn't mean I like it. It does not mean I like it. Because I like Jordan Poole a lot. And I think, did they sell low on Jordan Poole? I believe they did. But I do see the vision.
Okay, so let me play devil's advocate. To me, when you have something, people can say he's not an asset. It's not worth anything. No, someone's always worth something. To me, I would have broken the Jordan Poole trade. If you're going to trade Jordan Poole and you're not going to get one piece that's going to help you in their prime, give me two pieces. This is a team that can use two role players. And then wait the CP3 market out till he gets bought out and have back channel negotiations with him and bring him in that way.
But you know what? I don't think they would have been able to get him in the buyout market. I think Chris Paul would have gone down to L.A. or something. There's no guarantee you get him in the buyout market. There's no guarantee
that
whatsoever.
I agree with.
So they said, you know what? And the rub, we're going to play a Dunleavy soundbite, and we're going to play some things. We're going to really break down what he said the other day about Jordan Poole being here at least 4 years, because he did add at the end of that, A lot of teams are calling because our players have value. Jordan Poole has value. One thing I did hear is that Kuminga will not be going nowhere. Is that they're going to really try to make Kuminga work with the second unit of Chris Paul.
He's the only Bob Myers guy left.
Right, but didn't you feel like at some point, Kuminga may get stapled with the 19th pick and get traded too?
They traded Patrick Baldwin Jr. to save $10 million and got a guy that they could have traded money, just straight up money. Remember back in the day when Lacob first got here?
Yep.
They traded money to get a 57th pick. And then this one, they traded a first rounder who we didn't even get a chance to see for a 22. And we'll see if it ends up working. But it just feels like in one day, all the Bob Myers guys gone. Right. What was going on behind the scenes?
Yeah, who knows? But here, again, we don't know how much value Jordan Poole had coming off of that season. Maybe some teams just see him as a one-dimensional player. He's a scorer is he going to get your team involved? Some GMs, I'm just saying. I don't know if that's the truth or not.
There might not have been a market for him.
Defensively, he was awful last year. He's one of the worst defensive players in the league last year. There's no doubt. The turnovers, the slips. In this system, it's just like, and then
but
he also wanted to start. There's no secret he wanted to start.
I'm sure that's an element.
Because the rumors after Game 4 in that locker room was Jordan Poole's kind of sitting there like, I'm no Vinny Microwave Johnson. That's not who I am. Not on this team. He views himself as a starter.
But he's one of the few guys who can get to the cup on his own will.
I agree.
And dribble, drive, penetrate. I'm not saying that he's some great player. He's useful. The problem
is useful, but he wanted to start Shasky. Okay, who's he going to start over?
Fine.
Who's he going to start over?
No, if you want to move off him, I'm here for that. What I'm saying is, you sold as low as you could, and you got a guy that, to me, is overvalued. And all you're doing is basically going, well, let's see what happens this year. What?
Well, we're assuming we sold low, but how many teams would have taken on that contract?
I don't know. Bonte,
how many teams are going to take on that contract? We got to be real here.
If Team X acquired Chris Paul, not your team, Team X acquired, we'd be like, come on, give me a break.
Again, I don't necessarily love the deal. It's going to be tough for a lot of Warriors. Hell, I got to do TV. I got to talk to Chris Paul. It's going to be weird.
23-year-old for 38-year-old.
Right. I mean,
You had a 38-year-old this year. He played 5 seconds and potted 85 times this year. His name was Iguodala.
Yeah. I
asked him to do a fraction of what I'm asking Chris Paul to do.
There's no doubt. But you move off that money because what if Jordan Poole doesn't rediscover his gift that he had during the title year?
Move off the money, fine.
But listen, because you got 4 years. Because
I'm with you on that.
You know what I'm saying? That deal's going to kick in.
I'm all about the money. I told everybody, you can't have the venue not get to the Western Conference Finals and expect them to dump into the luxuries. I've been screaming this to the high heavens, which is why right now you're at $280 million.
There's no doubt.
$280 million.
There's no doubt.
If Draymond gets a 3-year deal and comes in somewhere around the $30 million mark, your payroll skyrockets to $410 million. I actually think Draymond's gone. I think they've got the 2 expiring deals, Clay and Chris Paul, and I think they're sitting there going, who is the disgruntled superstar we can get? And if that's their strategy, then you know what? I'm in on that.
I think Draymond is a lock to be back.
You do?
I do.
So you're going to pay $400 million this year for a team that's incrementally better than getting bounced in the second round by the Lakers that could have easily lost to the Kings.
Absolutely.
Wow, that's bad bang for the buck.
It feels like it. It feels like it. It certainly feels like it. But again, you had to move. You couldn't have Draymond and Jordan Poole in this locker room again. That is one thing. That was never going to be right. And Jordan Poole basically soured on Steve Kerr because of the lack of playing time, the inconsistent minutes.
Who does Steve Kerr like? Clearly nobody.
Well, no, he likes the veterans. He loves his veterans. And you know what else?
Good job.
And you know what else? He's going to love Chris Paul. He's been looking for a guy like Chris Paul for a long, long time. So Steve Kerr feels like in a second unit that's going to have Jonathan Kuminga, at times Andrew Wiggins, at times Klay Thompson, you do have a point guard who's going to be able to get you in the half-court offense. Now, how long does that last? Because of the injury history of Chris Paul, that is one thing. That is a very fair argument. The guy cannot stay healthy. But if he does stay healthy, you got a guy who's going to be able to get you into your set a lot better than Jordan Poole did last year. And was it going to work out for Jordan Poole here? Mentally, was it going to work out for Jordan Poole here? Probably not.
So we got
Probably
smaller,
not.
less athletic,
Yes,
and
you did.
significantly older.
You did.
Damn.
You did.
We're way closer to that Larry O'Brien, doggy.
But Pajimski, Brendan Pajimski for Santa Clara, 40-inch vert.
So now we're going to play that youngster.
You're not going to play him, but he's a lot more athletic. He is athletic. You got to give
him,
that one.
But I cannot quantify any young player's impact on a team that hates young players.
Yeah, there's no
A
doubt.
coach that hates everybody who's not some G League two-way player.
Phil Jackson didn't like young players. He didn't like them. Let's go to break here for Lubbock goes crazy.